Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about a myriad of things relating to the state of Ohio and a couple of other states for that matter, too, and major cities across this country. But the main story of the day will be about local mainstream media lying about the rise of hate groups in this country, or specifically hate groups in Ohio, I should say. Specifically white hate is what they're talking about, and yet they refuse to actually mention how literally 100% of these groups are all federal informants and federal agents, for that matter, behind them and stuff. So, yeah, that'll be the main one we're talking about in a few minutes here. One that I want to talk about real quick here, though, is I guess at some point today, there was, and this really does go to show you like the actual numbers that these people have is what it is. There was a small group of dipshits outside the Ohio State House today, a bunch of actual leftist pedo types is what it was. You had one dumbass who was beating a fucking drum as loud as he possibly could, which, by the way, the fact that he was not arrested for disturbing the peace by the local Columbus cops there is absolutely exactly what's wrong with this fucking country right now. Because, you know, it's one thing to have the freedom of speech and the freedom of assembly and all that stuff like that, dude. It's a whole nother thing to be disturbing the peace while you're trying to do these things. You want to sit there and you want to chant, you want to sit there and you want to fucking, have an actual, true redress of grievances under the Constitution, that's fine. Actually have papers with you. Be like, this is the redress of grievances we have. But that's the problem, right? None of these leftists actually know what the fuck they're doing, man. They want to sit there and act like they have freedom of speech or freedom of the press or freedom of assembly or anything like that, yet they never actually do it the right way. They always want to bitch and moan, or they want to fucking beat drums and blow whistles and shit like that and just piss people off with what it is. So what ended up happening there? You had State Rep Scott Wiggum, the fucking guy that had the drum, basically, and I'm going to describe what happened there because I'm not going to show it on video here because I don't want to get channel strike or whatever the case be. But basically what happened was you had this dipshit with beating a drum outside the State House. You could see that he looked over and saw that the state rep was coming, literally backpedals back just to get in Wiggum's way so that he can't walk freely towards his job, which, by the way, that possibly is an arrestable offense right there because you're actually stopping official business of a state government is what it would be then, because this dude was on his way to work is what it was, to go do stuff that day in the committees and everything else like that. So, yeah, I could easily see something happening there where this dipshit with the fucking trans pride flag draped around his drum actually getting arrested for a bunch of stuff right now. This whole situation. But basically, the guy, like I said, literally backpedaled his way to get in Wiggum's face. Wiggum rightfully was like, fuck you. Literally arm checked his ass out of the way. And then the guy tried to like talk shit and try to start shit with Wiggum is what it was. And yeah, in that case, I'm always on Wiggum's side is what it is, dude, because if I'm in that same situation, I'm gonna do the exact same shit, honestly. And if you're gonna sit there and shit talk me when I'm trying to go to work, I'm gonna fucking call your bitch ass out on that one. Which is exactly what Scott did in the situation. Does that make me a bootlicker? No, it does not. But you know who does think that? The fucking ass clown that goes by Rooster on Twitter, or I should say the Rooster on Twitter, which I've actually talked about this person before, I think, if I'm not mistaken, on this channel. This is the same anti-gun, pro-pedo piece of shit that's been down at the city council meetings there in Columbus, who has been trying to help get gun control enacted at a city level that completely breaks preemption law. And he's also been literally featured with the Antifa and BLM terrorists in the past. But, yeah, this was the interaction I had with this dipshit before I blocked his ass on Twitter a couple minutes ago. He said, "It's always cool to see 2A guys like you bootlicking politicians." And my response to him says the guy who supports gun control and pedos. And I immediately blocked his ass. Because there's no reason to interact with these people after that, man. There's zero reason to interact with the people after that. And that's the whole point entirely. When you have these people who are affiliated to these groups and stuff like that, whether it be BLM or Antifa terrorism, whatever the case be, and they want to sit there and shit talk you as being a political bootlicker, it's like, no, I'm not, dumbass. And I guarantee you don't even realize what the actual definition of bootlicking would be, dipshit. Because the whole point of the matter was, why did I even get into it with this guy to begin with? Why did he even respond to me to begin with? Because some other moron that responded to his thing with the actual video there on the channel, or on the Twitter account, I should say, basically said that the drummer guy would have kicked Scott Wiggum's ass, and I responded to them and I was like, you're dreaming if you think Wiggum, who is an ex-military veteran, wouldn't have knocked that motherfucker out with one punch. Scott Wiggum's a fucking huge dude, man. Legitimately. Like, he is a big motherfucker. He's like 250 or something like that. And he is jacked as hell, man. So, yeah, to sit there and say that See if I can get a body image of this guy. Yeah, to sit here and say that literal state rep Scott Wiggum, who, like I said, is a pretty big guy there, isn't going to have enough muscle mass and stuff like that to knock somebody's ass out with like one hit. You're dreaming, dude. You're dreaming if you think one of these soy boy fucking leftists is going to have any chance against this dude. And I'm saying that specifically from the point of fact of when Wiggum went into the military, just like every other military person in basic training, they learned fucking hand-to-hand combat skills. They learn how to disarm people. You learn how to disarm people with knives and shit in basic training. You think that doesn't come into the mindset? You think that doesn't do muscle memory and stuff like that, dude? Of course it does. Of course that does. So to think that guy doesn't have an advantage, just the fact that he was a actual veteran of this country, I believe it was during the Desert Storm, Desert Shield time period of history in the early 90s and stuff like that, you're fucking kidding yourself. And that's what I'm saying. Like, these people have no fucking clue, man. They have no fucking clue who they're fucking with in most cases. And that was the entire point I was trying to make there. But of course, people are too stupid to realize that. And why am I not surprised when you have that leftist hive mind mentality all across the state and in this country is what it is. And that's exactly what the problem is with these people in a nutshell. These are the same people that are bitching and moaning and babbling on about like, and this is why we need abortion on demand and without consequences. Or you could just sterilize yourself. How about that? How about go get a vasectomy? How about go get your tubes tied? You know, that would work just as well. But no, what you want is you want unfettered access to abortion facilities to mass murder children in the womb because you're too fucking lazy to actually take birth control or wear condoms or anything else like that, depending on sex, obviously. And that's the entire point of the matter. It's a bunch of people who are really just a bunch of selfish assholes is what it is, dude, at the end of the day. And it becomes generational shit at that point when you start looking into who their parents are and their grandparents, everything else like that. So, anyway, that being said, moving on to something else we want to talk about here. We're going to talk about a few different things. We're going to talk about two different Ohio stories here in a minute or two. As soon as I get through these other two stories, which number one would be this one I thought was interesting on Gateway Pundit here because it has to do with a state which my family lives in, which is Maine. And you had Republican wins special election, flipping Democrat district Democrats won just months ago. Says a Maine Republican candidate won a seat in the state's House of Representatives, so the state house of Maine there, during a special election on Tuesday, flipping a spot that had gone to a Democrat in the November election. Abden Simmons, a former state representative, was declared the winner by 52% of the vote, suppressing Democrat Wendy Pies 48%, or surpassing it. So according to the media there. So the Democrat is also a former state rep. So Simmons will replace Democrat Clinton Callamore in representing Bigman Friendship, Lords Island Township, Willowboro, and Washington. Callamore, the Democrat who held that seat, resigned in February after he was indicted on accusations of violating Maine's Clean Elections Act and of forging signatures to collect $14,000 worth of public campaign funds. Geniuses, bro. Geniuses. This is a guy that's now the state rep, by the way, that replaces piece of shit Democrat. Good for him. Good for Simmons, dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, honestly, looking at this right here now, this is a preview of 2024 right now. This is what's going to happen in this country, dude. You're going to have a crazy-ass red tsunami come through when it's all said and done. And it's something that people can't surpass anymore. It's something that people cannot suppress anymore in this country. And it's the shit that you see these douchebags like Mitch McConnell and these other rhinos in the office right now who tried to fuck over that stuff in 2022 midterms. But they can't suppress the actual grassroots candidacy anymore. They can't suppress the people coming up and actually primarying their asses out nowadays is what it is. Because that's the thing, right? You basically have you have basically 2 to 3 different versions of Republicans in this country right now. You have the old rhino fucking corrupt pieces of shit like Mitch McConnell and company that are going to vote with Democrats a shitload of times to fuck us over with omnibus bills and stuff like that. You have these everyday Republicans who are basically what I would consider to be more or less like the older Gen X crowd and stuff like that. They're like, yeah, I vote, but I'm like not going to really pay attention to who I'm actually voting for. It's just going to be a down ticket kind of thing. And then you have this third class, which are the people that are my age, you know, the Zennials, the older, or I should say the younger version of Gen Z, the older millennials, and then the older Gen Z kids that actually do our homework. We actually do our research. We discuss who the hell the best candidate is for the race and stuff like that. We actually deciding to run for races ourselves now is what it is in a lot of cases. And we are putting ourselves out there to take down these seats of power and take them down constitutionally is what it is. And basically make this country a great nation again. You know? And that's the thing. Like, Trump basically started it all back in 2016 with the whole Make America Great Again movement. And that's what the generation is now. It's not just that, it's spurred past that now. It is spurred past Americans wanting patriotism in this country again. It's spurred back to Americans wanting an actual representation of our flag and our Second Amendment rights in this country now. It spurred people like me to go on a constitutional path and then decide to run for office, etc., etc. And these are the people that we're going to see take down a lot of these seats in 2024, I believe. And if they don't, it would definitely be, no matter what, going to a Republican at that point. So it might be establishment, it might not be. And that's what they're so scared of right now. That's why they're not letting campaign funds drop to us now, because they know if we got the campaign funds, we would easily be able to take down the seats of power and stuff. And that's a big problem right now, being a grassroots candidate. So, anyway, that being said, what's interesting actually is going even back to this now, to what was said in the rest of that article about that dude in Maine there. You actually had it say, let's see where we're at now. Yes, Maine Republican Party Chair Joel Slipkins congratulated Simmons in the social media post. So this is massive news for Maine. Simmons' deep community roots and staunch advocacy for the district's way of life clearly resonated with voters. Said we said from the beginning that Maine Republicans are putting together a reinvigorized, bottom-up grassroots team effort, and I want to thank our volunteers and local party chairs because this was a great example of everyone working together for a common goal. Exactly, dude. And that right there is what I'm talking about. That's what needs to be at a fucking level across the board at this point in this country. Every single state across the board right now. You need to have grassroots candidates again. So anyway, moving on to the other non-Ohio story today, and then we'll get on to the Ohio stories, what it is here. We had this particular one from dipshit Brandon there in Chicago. First month in office, crime jumps 38% under new Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. That is fucking psychotic, dude. So you're talking about over a third of a jump in crime since your dumbass took office. But why am I not surprised by that? You know, I'm not surprised by that because you literally had this dipshit while he was still a fucking candidate, while he was basically mayor-elect at that point. You had a bunch of punk-ass teenagers go out there and commit havoc and stuff like that down in the Miracle Mile area again. And this dumbass is like, oh, no, it's fine. They're fine. They should be able to do that stuff. No, they shouldn't. It's fucking crime, dude. They're committing all kinds of crimes. Their asses should be get hit with a fucking book. They should be arrested. You should be backing the Chicago Police Department at that point to arrest their asses. You should be funding the police to make sure they have enough police on staff to go do their fucking job and make these arrests stick, is what it is. This guy is fucking worthless, dude. Like, honestly, the worst thing that Chicago did was not elect that Paul guy. Like, even with both those guys being Democrats, at least that Paul dude had a fucking vision of how to bring back law and order, for God's sakes. Like, it wasn't just, oh, everybody fucking run wild and let this fucking city continue to be a shithole is what it is. Of massive fucking gang violence and fucking, illegal guns, everything else like that going across the board. People are grabbing every which way but loose at that point, It's fucking ridiculous, dude. Anyway, it says when Chicagoans voted out Lori Lightfoot and put Mayor Brandon Johnson in charge, they doubled down on the progressive soft on crime approach and went full commie, and they are getting exactly what they voted for. The latest data reveals increase in almost all major crimes, with total crime growing 38% over the same time last year. During May 15, 2023 to June 11, 2023, Johnson's first month in office. Let's see. So you had murder. Actually, interestingly enough, murder went down by, looks like 3% here. Or, sorry, went down by 3, so it was negative 5%. So you had 59 last year and 56 this year during the same time period. That's still a lot of people getting killed, though, man. Let's see. You got sex assault up by 5%. You got robbery up by 7%, which is about 45-ish people. You got aggravated battery up 17%, almost 100 people, more than last year. Burglary, about 67, 70 people, something like that, up 12%. Theft, up 6%, about 100 almost there. Motor vehicle theft, aka, stealing cars, Kia boys, all stuff like that, 153%, dude, has more than doubled at this point. Jesus Christ, man. For a total margin of 38%. Fucking insane, dude. Even underneath that, they got, obviously, shooting incidents. Over 28 more people shot now. Up 12% there. Fucking insane, man. It's completely psychotic. And this is what happens when you put Democrats into office, man. Legitimately. This is what happens when you give Democrats a fucking city to run and they run it right into the fucking ground. Or they've run it in the ground already, and then they continue to vote in the worst possible candidate to continue to run it into the ground after that is what it is. Totally insane. For those wondering what I'm drinking, I'm actually drinking a bottle of water that used to be a Hawaiian Punch bottle. So, anyway, repurpose, man. Reuse, recycle, renew, all the stuff like that. That's how you actually help the planet, by the way. Not the dipshit that Greta Thunberg and company love to do all the time, bitch and moan about stuff. You actually plant trees if you want to deal with climate change, dude. So, but of course it doesn't pay the bills, right? That's why they don't do it all the time, is what it is. Speaking of people that just want to virtue signal and stuff like that, we move on to our next story from here in Ohio, and we'll finish off with the hate crime stories, what it is then. Edwin's Leadership and Restaurant Initiative launches gun buyback program with $250 Edwin's gift cards. You can't buy back something you never owned, dumb fucks. Number one. Number two, there's many guns out there that are worth more than 250 bones, bro. And thirdly, you're not actually giving them cash for their guns. What you're giving them is a shitty gift card to your shitty restaurant that probably costs like $250 for fucking entrees, my guess, honestly. So ridiculous, man. Anyway, it says Cleveland, Edwin's Leadership and Restaurant Initiative founder and CEO, Brandon Kratowaski. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or not. Whatever. It's a ski. So he's probably Polish, actually, based on that, because most Polish people do have the ski at the end of their name. So it is looking to make the streets safer with his own gun buyback program, except it won't, because the people that you're going to be getting guns from, you dumb fuck, are not going to be the criminal element out there. What it's going to be is it's going to be old granny sitting in the house with grandpa's shotgun that's worth several $100s at that point. Or hell, might be an antique worth several $1,000s, like that one fucking guy who, there was one, it was after that piece of shit current Stark County prosecutor got into office, which, by the way, I've talked to people about that one even. And I said, when this guy comes up for re-election, if there's anybody else in that race, dude, I'll give that seat back to the Democrats as long as they're not doing gun buybacks, because fuck this BLM guy now. Like, that dude, like, honestly, this is what pisses me off about that whole race, actually, when it happened. You had this dude basically falsely claiming a bunch of stuff, and then people actually knew that he was fucking pro-BLM shit, dude. Like, pro-BLM terrorism is what it was. Didn't say a fucking word about it, and allowed him to basically win the race because of that, because so much of us voted for him thinking we were going to vote into somebody that was actually decent, not some fucking ass clown leftist faking to be a Republican. A complete fucking rhino sack of shit is what this guy is, actually. So yeah, when the Stark County prosecutor's race comes back up again, dude, this guy's going to be a one-termer, hopefully, and we'll get somebody better back in there. Either he'll get primaried out by an actual Republican at that point, or it'll be a Democrat, faking to be a Democrat or something like that that's going to flip to Republican after they get in office or something like that. That's what it would be. I mean, hell, even John D. Ferraro, who was the county prosecutor / DA there for like a couple decades of my life now, as much of a piece of shit as he was, dude, At least he didn't do gun buybacks, you know? Like, he was one of these fucking blue dog Dems. That was the worst part that I realize now. Like, he was an actual blue dog Democrat. Like, was he against guns and stuff like that? Was he against, like, people's 2A rights and stuff like that? In a lot of cases, yes, he was, because he prosecuted the shit out of mishandling firearms in motor vehicle and stuff like that a lot of time. However, that being said, the man did his job, and he never did gun buybacks. But yet, first time this other motherfucker gets in there, within like a month or two, it does a gun buyback. And at that particular buyback there in downtown Canton, this happened a couple years ago now, you had some dude bring a replica of an 1870s single action revolver there that was worth anywhere from like $2,500 to $2,000 with him. Got a $100 gift card, and that gun's not been destroyed potentially. I say potentially because I'm pretty sure that one of the Canton cops knew what the fuck it was and pocketed that motherfucker into their own collection is what it was there. Because that's been a thing since Katrina, honestly. There's been cops that have stolen guns like that all the time is what it is, dude. To throw in their own collections, they know what it's worth is what it is. But yeah, it was basically that. It was a bunch of single shot shotguns that were grandpa's old shotgun in the fucking closet and stuff like that. And these people were getting nothing for them. But thankfully, there was a small group down there that did an actual, hey, we'll buy them in private sales from you if you want to sell them to us is what it is. And they did their job there. And they saved several guns from that bullshit buyback is what it was, dude. Because they knew what the fuck was going to happen to them. And it's the same shit with this Edwins thing. This guy wants them to destroy all these guns now. Or they could, I don't know, dude, actually have firearms be sold back to the general public who actually needs to protect themselves. Like, that's the thing, right? I would have absolutely no problem with a so-called gun buyback if every single one of those guns was then being turned right around. Like, obviously, you would have the cops and stuff like that take them, make sure they're not used in crimes and shit. Anything that's not used as a crime gun, though, goes right back onto the market then, is how it should be. It should be just like the auto auctions and stuff like that. It should be exactly like that. It should be like, okay, hey, today we're holding the gun auction is what it is. You know, highest bidder wins this. And that way you would actually be funding these police departments that are understaffed and like, they have no money and stuff like that to fund them is what it is. Like, that could be a perfect thing to happen right now. It's like, oh, you know, old woman didn't really need something or whatever the case be. Because, you know, her husband died and he was like a hunter or whatever, but he had like this vintage shotgun basically that's now vintage because it's been there for so long is what it is. Instead of her getting $100 or whatever for it and some bullshit gift card from Walmart, now she gets like a 10% or 20% of the fucking profit of it. Maybe it's a couple $1,000 it goes for. You know, seriously. Like, you could do better. They could actively give these people market value, for God's sakes, anyway, on the shit. And then again, sell it back to general public. Because at least then, you would have people still do background checks. The background checks y'all love to always talk about 473s and stuff like that. You would know exactly who fucking has it then. Because they would do a background check to get the fucking gun. So you know they're not a felon. You know, it's like, Jesus, bro. Like, it's a win-win situation all the way around, but nobody seems to see that shit. They just want them destroyed. They just want to be a bunch of assholes and take out potential history from this country. And I'm sick and tired of it, man. I really am. But yeah, anyway. Yes, is offering $250 gift cards for every gun turned in to one of their properties, be it Edwin's Restaurant, Edwin's 2 on Shaker Square, the Edwin's Butcher Shop. Okay, so they have a butcher shop, so you can actually get like meat for it then or whatever, which is probably overpriced, I'm guessing, honestly, on that one. Or a bakery and diner on Buckeye. It says, quote, the idea is to accept guns as our new currency, is what this moron who owns this fucking business said. Handguns at Edwin's are now worth. Okay, so he is limited to handguns then only apparently. Okay, so there is the caveat then. So it's $250 for handguns, bro. That's even worse then. You know why? Because a lot of fucking handguns cost more than $250 these days, unless you're buying like a Taurus or a High Point for a couple $100. Everything else is way the fuck more expensive than that. Hell, most fucking Glocks and stuff like that you can't get for under $400, $500 now, etc., etc. So you're just devaluing people's fucking, you know, firearms at that point is what it would be then. Again, if you're going to do that kind of stuff, dude, at least give them market value for the fucking firearm, for God's sakes. Jesus Christ, you know? And that's what I'm saying. Like, honestly, I really hope that there's a group that comes up together in the Cleveland area. A bunch of independent people come together or whatever and just do a fucking buyback right outside that guy's place or something like that, or across the street or whatever the case be. on a public fucking sidewalk and be like, we're buying guns. Who wants to sell them to us? You know, and that way they could actually like that thing too as well with that whole thing. What's funny to me on that whole thing as well, by the way, is because I was watching the local news where this guy was talking about this earlier, and what he was basically saying was they would hand them over to the cops for the cops to make sure that they're not crime guns. The thing is, there is a fucking physical address, website, database for the state of Ohio. I know this for a fact because I had to use it after my gun was stolen, what it was, where you can type in a serial number of a fucking firearm and find out if it's stolen or not, dude. So you could literally right there on your fucking phone have that up and ready and type in the fucking serial number of the gun you're about to buy from somebody, know if they're a criminal or not, and potentially be able to citizens detain them at that point with a citizen's arrest. And that way you can have the cops come down there, or hell, even have the fucking cops waiting around the damn corner for that matter, and they could bust the motherfucker as they're walking out the door. You wouldn't have to detain them yourself at that point. It'd be like, yeah, we got another one. We got another one. This gun's using a crime. And they would just have them checking serial numbers right then and there. It would be fucking easy as shit. You know what would happen then? You would get actual criminals out the streets potentially. You wouldn't have other people who, like I said, a bunch of old grannies or grandpas, whatever it was, you know, dad, uncle, whatever the fuck it was, died, the handgun came in their possession that's worth several hundred to several $1,000s. And now all of a sudden it's been sitting in a drawer for 10, 15, 20 years, or whatever the case be. And they're like, oh, well, you know, I'm not really using this. I kind of need the money, that was what it is. Or I kind of need this gift card or whatever it is for this dude that's going to give me like food, basically, is what it is at the end of the day, because that's what it really is at the end of the day. It's, you're essentially giving them food in exchange for a firearm. And they may take it to that place, not even realizing what actual market value of that firearm is, instead of taking it to an FFL or, you know, a pawn shop, whatever the case be, and getting some actual hard cash for it. So, yeah, it really does bother the shit out of me is what it is, man. It really, really just bothers the fuck out of me is what it is on that whole thing. And like I said, this is why I hope my group just comes together and does a bunch of private sales and buy this place. So, anyway. But yeah, as I said, Kratoski guy was saying, so handguns at Edwards are now $250, $250 worth of anything you want to buy at the butcher shop and the bakery at Edwin's. We're proposing this will help get some of these guns off the streets. No, they won't, dude, because they're not going to be crime guns. Again, like I said a minute ago, they're going to be the handguns that have been sitting in people's closets or sitting in people's, you know, sock drawers or whatever it is for decades now. It's not going to be some random gun off the fucking streets, you idiot. Anyway, he said, because many of the students in the Edwin's program are former felons and can't handle firearms. Oh my fucking God, dude. I did not even realize it got better like that. Oh, good Lord, buddy. Good God, man. It makes it so much funnier now. So there will be designated people at each location that will be authorized to accept the weapons in exchange for gift cards. Good Lord, man. Good Lord. He said, we have authorized individuals at each location who can receive the gun. We put it in a safe and we call the 4th district. They come pick it up. So I've contacted the 4th district. They told me the process, what will happen. You call us, we pick it up, and it's that simple, the cop said. Said private donations are helping to fund the program. I guarantee that private donation is MDA and Bloomberg fucking money is what it is, dude. So that guy said he hopes to get 100 guns off the streets in the first month. If there's more, he says he has other donors lined up. Whatever we push this to, we'll find the funds for. Let me tell you that we got an amount we're starting with. If we fulfill that, there's someone behind that. If we fulfill that, there's someone behind that. Bloomberg dark money, I guarantee it, dude. So think about it. Every gunshot, even if it grazes you, it costs the hospital $55,000. Seriously? $250 to get a loaded gun off the street is what he claimed. Again, these are not going to be crime guns that you're collecting, bro. They're going to be old ladies walking into your fucking place with their dead husbands or their dead uncles or dead grandfathers, whatever the fuck it is, gun at that point. And I guarantee what's going to really happen, honestly, it's not going to be people bringing handguns in there in a lot of cases. It's going to be people bringing in like single shot shotguns. And they're going to be like, oh, sorry, we don't take those. It's like, why not, dude? You said guns. So, yeah, just fucking dumb, man. It really is. Whole thing's just fucking stupid. Let's see. So Shaker Square Wednesday, folks like Brant Limpkin applauded the move. Said, "I think it's a positive thing for the neighborhood to lift the neighborhood up and to encourage people to do the right thing. Again, it's not criminals that are going to do buybacks, you moron." Said Lucius Turner and Alana Ferguson said that they agreed to the point. So long as the guns are taken out of the hands of those who shouldn't have them. Exactly, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. They get it, man. They get it's not going to be a bunch of fucking criminals going and doing this shit. It's going to be a bunch of grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, etc., dude. But their quote was from these young children who have been missed out on some role models from men, strong men. I think they should not have guns, said Ferguson. That would be the chick. Said Tamier said, it's a conversation parents should have with their kids. If you own a gun and conform and come over to my way of thinking as a parent, what the fuck is that kind of fucking commie bullshit that they just said right there, dude? Seriously, fuck y'all, man. Then you'll check out this buyback thing. Then you'll have $250 to take me out to eat, or maybe a friend. So this anti-gun fuckhead is trying to sit there and claim, oh, you should give up your gun as an adult in this city, in one of the most dangerous cities in the state of Ohio that makes up for a shitload of the fucking homicides in this state right now. Yeah, that's a real fucking smart idea, you dumb fuck. Oh, wait, no, it's not. You're a fucking idiot, dude, seriously. God, these people are stupid, man. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, these people are morons. Seriously, anybody that tells you to conform and come over to their way of thinking probably shouldn't have voting rights in the state of Oregon, is what it is, dude. I'm just going to say it like it is. Anyway, the guy that owns this place said it's a concept that could be copied by other businesses and used by landlords to give a discount on rent, for example. What the fuck? Are you fucking retarded, man? So give up your fucking safety and freedom from being criminalized in your apartment building to get a month's off of rent or something like that. Fuck that, man. So other private sector businesses can get involved to where Cleveland might be a new change maker when it comes to quote unquote gun violence in America. Enough's enough. We got to do something. To do nothing is bad, and what's being done doesn't work. Yeah, so you're admitting gun buybacks don't work, dumbass. That's what you just admitted in that whole thing, dude. Because you're saying what's being done doesn't work, aka every gun buyback that's existed for the past 20 fucking years now, dude, has not done shit to take actual crown guns off the fucking streets. What they have done is they have gotten a bunch of actual antique firearms off the streets. Well, not off the streets, out of people's homes that were sitting in fucking places like a closet or a sock drawer or whatever the case be for the past decade or so in some baggie or some actual, you have a gun in a little fucking zipable case is what it is there. That's what they're getting off the streets right there, dude. Or quote unquote off the streets. Because they're never on the streets. They were in people's homes, hidden in fucking plain view, basically, is what it is. But yet you think this is going to solve anything. It's not. What you're doing is asinine as fuck. You're even admitting that you're actually part of the problem, dude. Because most people that work for you are prohibited people to begin with and can't even handle fucking firearms. So you have to fucking hire people to be designated firearms handlers for the day to give out the fucking gift cards. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Just the amount of fucking leftist hoops and the leftist mindset you have to jump through in that whole situation is just beyond comprehension at this point. It is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh my God. It's mentally exhausting, man, having to deal with these fucking people on a regular basis. It really is. And then finally, going to the last story of the day that we're going to talk about, which is the one that this was titled after, which is obviously the whole quote-unquote white supremacy thing that they're trying to claim now, or whatever the case be, which is not white supremacy at all. Like I said, it's fucking Fed Informants is what it really is. It's a bunch of groups being led by feds and Fed informants underneath, white masks or black masks or whatever it is then, whether it be Patriot Front or Blood Tribe or something else like that. But yeah, it says, report, white supremacist activity on rise in Ohio and across the U.S. A new report claimed that a 38% increase over the previous year in incidents of white supremacist propaganda, distribution, and events. You are such a fucking fake news bitch, Brittany Bailey. So when it comes to white supremacist activity, Ohio ranks third on the list. According to who? That's my real question. Oh, yeah, that's right. According to the ADL, a fucking Soros, actual motherfucking Nazi George Soros affiliated organization. So that assessment is from a new report released by the Anti-Defamation League Center on Extremism, aka, you might as well say SPLC at that point, dude, because that's exactly what it is, the same shit. So specifically, ADL documented 167 white supremacist events 2022. Those events took place in 33 states, with Ohio being on the list of third most active state that has Fed informants, and is what you really mean. It says ADL Center on Extremism, aka SPLC, tracked a variety of propaganda activity from distribution of racist flyers and stickers to graffiti, posters, and gatherings. What do they mean by racist flyers? Like, it's okay to be white? Because I guarantee that's what they're really saying on that one, dude. Said, quote, we're seeing more incidents than ever, really across the board, whether it's white supremacist, anti-Semitism, hate crimes, we're seeing a real increase, claimed Kelly Fishman, interim regional director and education director of ADL Cleveland. What a fucking joke. It's funny to me because people never talk about black supremacists that are actually on the rise in this country, dude, across the fucking board. And literally black on Asian hate crimes and black on white hate crimes is what it is. So, according to this dumb Fishman bitch, though, she said, and that's sad that in 2023, as we look back at 2022 data, we're still having the same conversation and not to see those numbers go down, but rather going up. Yeah, of course. But you never admit how BLM themselves are a bunch of fucking terrorists. You'll never admit that shit, though, will you? No. You'll fucking cuck for them, though. That's what it is. So, the report noted several events that 10 TV has covered in the past year, including the protest of a holiday drag time story hour. Okay, so here's the thing about that, right? So, what they're talking about with that shit was, you again had the fucking Patriot Front douchebags there that were Fed informants, and then you had a bunch of pissed off parents that are like, stop shoving your fucking dicks in children's faces, you fucking pedos. That's not a fucking white supremacist, you idiot. That's pissed off individuals that are sick and tired of your fucking pedo shit, you fucking fuckers. And it says flyers dropped off on highways in Pacasilia. Never heard of that one. And a BLM mural vandalized in the Franklin Town Arts District. Guarantee that one was a fucking its own hate on hate is what it is, dude. It's their fucking hate hoaxing shit like Casey Weinstein did himself 4 years ago is what it was. Right after I was federally swatted. Anyway, according to that Kelly moron, she said, it's scary when you see a rise in hate, but I think it's so important to recognize what's happening and name it and then work together to fight against it. Okay, then why don't you name the black supremacist shit like the BLM terrorism that you're fucking cucking for there, lady? But you're not going to do that because you're a literal fucking BLM terrorist is what it is. Or you're an Antifa terrorist, you're a leftist terrorist for that matter. So, yeah, it's a bunch of shit, dude, entirely. It's a bunch of fucking lies. It's the exact same bullshit we saw recently with the fucking SPLC. How you had those fucking cocksuckers have, what was it, like a 3,000% increase in their fake ass shit is what it was, and them claiming like several thousand people or whatever, several thousand more hate groups that don't actually exist is what it would be then. For those wondering, by the way, what I was talking about earlier with the State Rep Scott Wiggum there, and then getting into it with that rooster guy. Going to Discord here. This is what it says. So obtain the original video from Erica Roberts, clearly showing Scott Wiggum's ugly mug intentionally shouldering a protester and being confrontational. Yeah, no. It was him literally fucking knocking somebody out of his fucking way because the guy was blocking his fucking path, you dumbass. Big difference there. And to sit here and try to call me a bootlicker for being on the side of the guy who would actually beat that so-called protester's ass who's actually a fucking pedophile. Being the fucking guy with the trans flag around a drum. Nah, you're fucking kidding yourself there, bud. But yeah, this is the thing I was talking about right here, though. What did it actually say for that now? I want to say it actually says the number here someplace for this, because this was the thing that I was talking about earlier here, which was SP analysis. Just how deceptive is the SPLC's hate map? And it was in America a dangerous place for women and minorities. If so, why? A predominant leftist organization that's basically existed since the Weather Underground in the 70s has long been, or has long organization long has trumpeted the threat of hate groups with a scary red and black map pointing KKK chapters, militia groups. Which, how can you equate militia groups to KKK in the first place? That's not hate groups, dude. Fucking two different things entirely. The first one is obviously, second one is not. And score the organizations where they've never heard, and scores of organizations we've never heard of because they're made up, is what it is most of the time, is what it is there. Said, who better to trust than, for the matter, than leftist group, the Southern Poverty Law Center? After all, it bankrupted the Klan and has monitored hate groups for decades. If the SPLC says you have haters in your neighborhood, maybe you should pay attention. Not so fast. Not only has the SPLC used its map to target mainstream conservative and Christian groups, but has also featured organizations that barely exist. Exactly. And the conservative groups they're actually targeting right now is literal fucking Christians. Miles for Liberty is one of the most recent ones actually right now, etc., etc. There, you know, they fucking hate Santa Claus is what it is, dude, for real. But anyway, yeah, it said don't just take it from the guy writing this, is what it said. He said former SPLC employee said he has been part of the con, a quote highly profitable scam to scare donors into ponying up cash. A terrorist even used the organization's hate map to target a pro-family group in Washington, D.C., but the SPLC has kept that group on the map for 10 years since then. That alone, by the way, should see them sued in non-existence at this point in history. Not to mention the fact, I'm going to point something out right now, SPLC themselves actually had a fucking terrorist down at Cop City with the Antifa terrorist that day who was arrested for trying to kill cops down there in Atlanta, Georgia area. So yeah, who's the real terrorist, SPLC? Oh yeah, that's right, it's your fucking employees, you fucking cocksuckers. Because you are the leftist hate in this country. It's also funny to me, right, that they never actually have Antifa or BLM chapters on their fucking hate watch map and stuff like that. It's only right-wing and conservative ones and stuff like that, or ones that barely exist at all, for that matter. Anyway, who's writing this again? Tyler O'Neill. Okay, as Tyler O'Neill said, he said, I've been following SPLC for years and even wrote the book on why the hate map can't be trusted. So when the SPLC releases update hate map for 2022, I decided to go through the data and crunch the numbers. SPLC exaggerates hate in three key ways, according to Daily Signal's analysis. It lists quote-unquote chapters of organizations as separate hate groups or anti-government extremist groups, no matter how small they actually are. It tars political and ideological opponents by branding them as hate groups, even if they don't have anything to do with hate. And finally, the SPLC includes other organizations that barely exist at all. Number one, juicing the numbers. The SPLC's hate map for 2022, released last week, plots 1,225 quote-unquote hate groups or anti-government extremist groups, which, by the way, I do want to point something out on this whole thing. One of the guys that I was actually talking with, the guy that actually made me the constitutional am today, who was going to be my lieutenant governor pick if I had been able to get in the race over 2022, that dude is actually on SPLC's hate watch map for being a conspiracy theorist. I'm not going to tell you what his name is, but I do think it's funny, though, because, again, I know this person personally. He is not an extremist. He is not a conspiracy theorist. He speaks the fucking truth, is what it is. Actually, now he's more of a namaste, very, like, divinity individual is what it is now for spirituality and stuff. But yeah, he's still a constitutionalist at heart, though, is what it is. But the funny thing is, it's like they had him listed as a hate watch on there and stuff like that. It's like, nah, dude. No, he was not. He was the last thing. And I think he was actually listed on there as like anti-government too, if I'm not mistaken. It's like, yeah, because the guy has seen what the fuck is the deal now. Has seen federal government fuckery all the way around, dude, and understands that it is the federal government's problem right now. You know, hell, just like I was federally swatted, he was fucking federally swatted at least once or twice in his life. And they had nothing on him either. It's why he's still literally out to this day, is what it is, man. doing his thing, being a good father to his kids is what it is. Anyway, yeah, it said 1,225 hate groups and anti-government extremist groups, yet a quick perusal of the SPLC's data reveals something curious. Many organizations are listed far more than just once. Moms for Liberty, for instance, appears on the list no fewer than 220 times, once for each chapter an SPLC recorded, or the SPLC recorded. Said Frida Eagle Forum, a conservative group founded by Phyllis, not sure I pronounced that woman's last name, Skifly, to oppose the Equal Rights Amendment, appears 16 times to account for multiple chapters. 31 chapters of the Constitution Party appear on the map. So a literal party that's pro-Constitution and wants to see constitutionalists in office. That's what the Constitution Party is, by the way. That wants things to go by the actual U.S. Constitution. Is considered a hate group or anti-government group according to the fucking SPLC is what it is. So as do 77 chapters of the Proud Boys. Patriot Front has 48 entries on the SPLC's list, which is kind of funny because, like I said, with Patriot Front, dude, it's all a fucking federal organization. 48 fucking times is what they have it on there. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Anyway, it's some Eagle Forum chapters consist of 1 or 2 staff members, and it remains unclear just how active a chapter needs to be in order for the SPLC to place their chapter on the list. Said Bridget Gabriel, who is Lebanese American, founded ACT for America to warn about the threat of radical Islam that overran her birth country. Act for America has appeared on the SPLC list for years, but has never appears merely as one hate group. Said although Act for America's executive director told PJ Media that the group scraped its chapter model entirely in 2020, the SPLC quote-unquote hate map has plotted dozens of Act for America chapters in the years since. The basically flight numbers what it is on that one. Said 2022 list includes 13 Act for America chapters. So although the SPLC often includes the city or town in which the organization exists, many organizations are listed as, quote, statewide, because they don't actually have a place for them, because they're just aligned with what it is at that point. So the SPLC claims that it uses this designation because groups, quote, have not designated a specific location as their headquarters, because they don't fucking exist in most cases, you jackass lying pieces of shit. Fucking leftist douchebags. Cunts. Honestly, I wouldn't. You know what would be funny, actually? To just make up a fucking nationwide group that its anagram is actually just cunts, and see how many times cunt shows up on the hate watch map in the SPLC. That would be fucking hilarious, dude. I'm not even sure what we would create to make that a thing though, but it would be fucking hilarious to see it happen either way, because it would basically prove my point right now that the SPLC is a bunch of fucking ass clowns, dude. So, anyway, where was I at now? Okay, yeah, as I said here, it said yet the quote statewide listing also suggests that the chapters may be loosely organized if they even exist at all. It said 25 entries for the Proud Boys list each group as quote statewide, and all 48 chapters of the Patriot Front appear on the list as quote statewide. Should be Fed-wide is what it really is, dude, because it's all feds and Fed informants. So the SPLC does not list leftist groups such as the Antifa or Jane's Revenge, which have engaged in violence against government, state courthouses, and pro-life pregnancy centers, respectively, as, quote, hate or anti-government extremist groups. Back in 2017, then SPLC President Richard Cohen said his organization wouldn't brand Antifa a hate group because it didn't target people based on race, sexual orientation, or religion. Oh, really? Oh, really, motherfucker? It doesn't target Christians. It doesn't target Christians, does it? Does it now? Yes, it does. Most of the places that they were fucking burning down, them and Jane's Revenge both, actually, were Christian pregnancy centers, you fucking scumbag piece of shit. Run by white people, by the way. So, yeah, you're fucking lying your ass off, Richard. Fuck you, dick. Anyways, his new designation of anti-government extremist group removes this excuse, however. Said in all, the SPLC list has 710 chapters of specific umbrella groups listed as separate hate groups or anti-government extremist groups. If the SPLC didn't count separate chapters, as if they were unique hate groups, the number would drop significantly from a total of 1,225 to just 515. So it'd be less than half of what they have right now. It's almost 2/3 of what they have right, or yeah, it's almost it's over 700 then. So it'd be like pretty much like 270 something percent increase or something like that, or 267% increase, something like that. Says attacking ideological opponents, yet the SPLC doesn't just pad its numbers by listing chapters as separate organizations. It also smears its political and ideological opponents using guilt by association or cherry picking quotes out of context to make organizations appear extreme or hateful. Which, by the way, if they ever list Ohio Patriot Education Network on this fucking list, dude, I am suing the fuck out of the SPLC immediately on that one. I will take their fucking asses for every goddamn dime that they have at that point in history. I don't give a fuck, man, because they are fucking with the wrong autistic motherfucker right now. Anyway, let's see where we're at now. Yeah, context to make organizations appear extreme or hateful. Said take Alliance Defending Freedom, for example. The mainstream conservative Christian legal organization has won numerous cases at the Supreme Court in recent years, including the 2018 Masterpiece cake shop case, where it was the gay people trying to force Christian baker to bake the cake, is what it is there. So yeah, SPLC brands Alliance Defending Freedom as an anti-LGBTQ hate group, falsely claiming that ADF supports imprisoning gay or lesbian people, as well as forced sterilization for transgender people. Even liberal lawyers such as former ACLU president Nadine something or other, and Mike Weinstein, founder and president of the scandalous Military Religious Freedom Foundation, have condemned the smear publicly, but the SPLC keeps it up anyway, which is exactly why I need to be sued on the ground at this point, dude. Honestly, SPLC doesn't exist as an actual organization anymore because they should have been sued on the ground by everybody at this point in history. Says other anti-LGBTQ hate groups, according to the SPLC, include the American College of Pediatricians, the American Family Association, Center for Family and Human Rights, Church Militant, D. James Kennedy Ministries, the Family Research Council, Family Watch International, Illinois Family, Liberty Council, Mass Resistance, the Pacific Justice Institute, and the Ruth Institute, and World Congress of Families. Said most of these organizations advocate religious freedom, the traditional institution of family, and protecting children from transgender ideology, aka pedophiles. But why is the SPLC doing this, by the way? Oh yeah, because they're fucking pedophiles, dude. The SPLC is fucking child molesting terrorists. That's who the fuck they represent. That's who the fuck their membership is. That's who the fuck their employees are at this point in history. They always have been. Like I said, if you look back in the history of SPLC, dude, back in the 70s and 80s and shit like that, they were literally created by the people that created the fucking Weather Underground back in the day, committed terrorist attacks back in the fucking 60s and 70s. It's the same pieces of shit right there, man. They just went into some other organization then, is what it was. And it was a leftist hate group, is what it is, that refuses to actually talk about other leftist hate groups in this situation. I guarantee you, even going back to the whole Antifa and everything else like that, dude, not being labeled on their fucking thing as hate groups and stuff, I guarantee they're not even labeling, what's that one called? Refuse Fascism, which, by the way, burns American flags on a regular basis. How is that not a fucking leftist hate group, dude, that hates America? Seriously. Anyway, continuing on with the rest of this article, though, it said SPLC brands its opponents on the immigration issue anti-immigrant hate groups, smearing mainstream organizations such as Californians for population stabilization, the Center for Immigration Studies, the Dustin Eman Society, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, the Immigration Reform Law Institute, Oregonians for Immigration Reform, and Pro English. So SPLC once admitted that the Dustin Imam Society's founder, D.A. King, didn't start a, quote, hate group after all, but it branded his organization as hate group in 2018, right around the time the SPLC registered a lobbyist to oppose a bill sponsored by King's group. The Society's defamation lawsuit against the SPLC cleared a major legal hurdle earlier this year. And that's exactly what needs to happen right now. Every single group that's on their fucking hate watch that's not an actual hate group needs to fucking sue the fuck out of them for defamation and slander at this point. And take their fucking asses for every goddamn dime that they have and remove this fucking organization from existence forever is what it is. because fuck SPLC, dude, for real. It says Act for America, the American Freedom Law Center, the Center for Security Policy, the David Horowitz Freedom Center, and Jihad Watch appear on the SPLC list as, quote, anti-Muslim hate groups. These groups warn against radical Islam, but often promote Muslim reformers such as M. Zamani Jarzer. In fact, the SPLC paid $3.37 million to settle a defamation lawsuit after it branded Muslim reformer Murad Nawaz as anti-Islamic extremist. And that dude shouldn't have settled, dude. He should have taken their asses to the fucking clears for every dime that they had at that point in history. So the SPLC's 2022 list includes parental rights groups for the first time. The SPLC faults their organization for opposing its agenda on critical race theory, aka anti-white racism, what race theory actually is, dude, and LGBTQ issues in schools. It added Army of Parents, state chapters of Parents Involved in Education, Moms for America, Courage is a Habit, Moms for Liberty, No Left Turn in Education, Parents Against Critical Race Theory, Parents Defending Education, Parents' Rights in Education, Education First Alliance, Purple for Parents Indiana, and Education Veritas. We're all added to this list. So the SPLC's lists these parents' rights groups as, quote, anti-government extremist groups alongside hundreds of other organizations. The, quote, anti-government list includes bona fide political parties such as the Constitution Party, long-standing conservative organizations such as Eagle Forum, and the John Birch Society, and Texas Freedom Coalition. I'm pretty sure Texas Freedom Coalition was actually the people that did the shit there in Texas to get constitutional carry on the fucking in the state house there, and eventually get it to go statewide is what it was, dude. And they're also the ones that got carry legal in Texas there as well. Or maybe that was open carry Texas, not thinking about it. I don't know. It was one of the two. I think maybe both were involved at one point, and one of the other is what it was there. But anywho. It says, quote, under general hate, the SPLC lists other established groups such as Chick Publications, which is known for publishing gospel tracts, and the Thomas More Law Center, a conservative Christian law center. Jesus Christ. SPLC, founded as a public interest law firm, my ass, applies the, quote, hate schmear to other public interest law firms on the opposite side of the contentious issues, such as the Thomas More Law Center, the American Freedom Law Center, Alliance Defending Freedom, and the Pacific Justice Institute. Michael J. Matt, editor of the Remnant newspaper and publisher of Remnant TV, told the Daily Signal last month the SPLC's list of, quote, radical traditional Catholic hate groups is hopelessly outdated. Matt noted that the SPLC falsely suggested organizations such as the Remnant are anti-Semitic. He also noted that slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, another hate group, is a covenant that follows a priest who tried to convert Jews to Catholicism. Said with these 46 organizations removed, the hate map now includes 469 groups, not the 1,225 listed by the SPLC. Jesus, how much longer is this fucking thing? Okay, it's not that much longer. So that was the second part of that whole thing. Sorry, I gotta take a drink real quick. I'm out of breath. And the final one that the SPLC does to inflate their numbers is the groups that barely exist. It says Southern Poverty Law Center has been notorious for listing as hate groups individuals or entities that either do not exist, have no impact, or are not groups at all. Not surprising at all. It says individual, the priority. It says Luxor Cortex, for example, is a fashion boutique. Patriot Shit Outfitters sells flags, patches, and Second Amendment themed Christmas cards. I feel like that is one from Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the same place I'm thinking of right now. Yeah, that is the place I'm thinking of. So, for those interested, there was a thing that I did on this channel a couple years ago. It was in Belleville, Ohio. I think it was Belleville. Some part down there by West Virginia is one of the counties down there, where you had BLM trying to terrorize it was like BLM and Antifa terrorists trying to terrorize a small town there. That's what it was, Bethel, Ohio. Yeah, it was Bethel. So Bethel, Ohio, a couple years ago, this is during the BLM terrorist riots of 2020 and stuff like that. They were doing a thing down there. You had the whole bunch of people down there oppose that shit. Patriot Shit Outfitters, the guy behind it, was one of the people that was basically talking shit at them that day and was like, fuck off out of our town. So, yeah. So support that guy if you can, man. He's a good dude. He's actually a vet in this country. Yeah, so they make Christmas cards and other 2A patches and flags and stuff like that. Probably made the list because it sells merchandise featuring a logo of a militia group, 3%ers. Said Sons of Liberty Survival Outfitters is so dangerous its t-shirts are not currently available for sale due to supply chain issues. The site called Second Amendment Patches.com even dares to sell patches celebrating 2A rights and the to Constitution. Said that Matt guy, editor of The Remnant, told Daily Signal that 2 of the radical traditional Catholic groups identified by the SPLC are defunct. He said Robert Sturgeons, founder of Catholic Apologetics International, told him that the organization is done now, and he called Christ or Chaos completely defunct. Matt said that the SPLC has been recycling an old list compiled in 2007. Not surprising at all, dude. Said SPLC usually releases its hate map in February or March, but this year it waited until June. Apparently, that was not enough time to finish copy editing. However, it's one organization on the map appears merely as Fort Worth chapter. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. That's too much. So SPLC also lists some websites rather than groups, including the blog of Lou Rockwell, founder and president of the Mises Institute. This is LouRockwell.com. Liberty Hangout, that would, by the way, be Caitlin Bennett, the chick that used to work for Alex Jones. And Daily, or World Net Daily, don't exist. Well, actually, no, sorry. It wouldn't be Liberty Hangout. It would be Liberty Hangouts, would be Caitlin's group, though. Or sorry. So they do exist, but they are websites, not groups. Okay. Sorry. My eyes are not the greatest right now. I'm kind of tired. So removing these 10 groups leaves 439 organizations on SPLC's hate map, many of which likely are insufficient. These 459 groups probably still an overcount, account for 37% of the original 1,225 groups. In other words, the Southern Poverty Law Center has inflated their hate by at least 267% overall. Yeah. I'm not surprised in the least by the whole thing, dude. It's a bunch of shit all the way around. They can go fuck themselves on that one. Like I said, if they ever try to put my group on there, I'm suing the fuck out of them for slander defamation, dude. 100%. I will take their asses to the fucking... I will be the fucking autistic motherfucker, dude, that I will drive the nail in their fucking coffin at that point, monetarily wise, and shut them the fuck down by making them go bankrupt at that point in history. Like, you want to fuck with this autist, dude? You better be prepared for lawsuits straight up your ass at that point, bitch. So... yeah, we've looked up the SPLC's hate map in the past sometimes here. Yeah, like actually, let's look up right now. Actually, I'm thinking about it because we're here anyway. Let's just look at how stupid it is right now. So this is the hate map right now of their 1,225 groups that are not even fucking half. Like I said, over 2/3 shouldn't be on this list at all. And you see all those dots in Ohio there. So you got, let's see, Silver Shield Exchange, Last Militia, Eagle Forum is one of the ones here in Ohio. The Frontiersmen, I guarantee that's a fucking militia group. Proud Boys, Ohio Minutemen Militia, another militia. West Ohio Minutemen, that's another militia. Moms for America, so that'd be one of the people fighting for kids and schools and not, basically the pro-parent groups and stuff. Let's see. Last Militia, White Christian Brotherhood of the Ku Klux Klan. So that's the actual hate group, by the way, which may not even exist right now. I don't think it does, honestly, because that's near Cincinnati area, it seems like there. Let's see. Last Militia. Patriot Shit Outfitters is what I was talking about earlier. Southern Ohio Outdoorsman. I guarantee that that's a fucking just random person is what it is. Yeah, anti-government movement is what they're claiming on that one. I'm going to call bullshit on that, dude, entirely. Ohio Defense Force, Home Guard. That sounds like a fucking militia group, probably. Got a couple of different chapters of that right there. One apparently in New Lexington, one apparently in Zanesville, according to this, supposedly. Yeah, just a bunch of stupid shit, honestly, dude. Let's go ahead and let's see. Is there a way to? Yeah, I'm gonna go find a state. Let's just look up Ohio and see what they say for Ohio here. I just want to see whatever everything they have listed for the state of Ohio right now is what it is on this list. Yeah, so they're claiming they got white nationalists as a statewide group. Let's see. Neo-Nazis are supposedly statewide here. Just so fucking dumb, dude. So let's see. Proud Boys, militia, most likely militia. Faith to Action. I'm not sure what that one is. Probably an actual faith group is my guess, honestly. Militia group, militia group, militia group. One that we already talked about in that thing. That outdoorsman, probably just some guy. Defense Guard, probably militia group, militia group. Past the Salt Ministry, so an actual Christian group would be Ohio Patriots Alliance. I think they talked about that one in the thing as well, which was one of the groups that was Law Center, basically. Moms for Liberty, Summit County chapter. Proud Boys, Daily Stormer, that's actually White Hate, even if I don't know if it exists here anymore, for that matter, honestly. Mission America, probably pro-America group. Patriots for Ohio, most likely fucking actual Patriot group. Ohio, West Ohio Minutemen, Moms for America, another pro-America or another pro-children's group is what it actually is. Constitution Party of Ohio, Last Militia, West Christian Brotherhood of the Ku Klux Klan. So basically, there's two supposed neo-Nazi ones. This entire fucking group right now, dude. Patriot America, Last Militia, Proud Boys, Assembly of Christian Israelites. Pretty sure that's actually, I think that actually is a black hate group, if I'm not mistaken. American Regulators, that's actually another pro-militia group. American Patriot Shit Outfitters is the guy I talked about earlier. And then I'm not sure if there's another one here that they're not letting me to have right now. But yeah, they supposedly have like a bunch of different ones here labeled and stuff. Yeah, let's see what they label as white nationalist on this list here. I just want to see what they be claiming here for this whole thing. I'm trying to see if they have things for actually Ohio. Here's what it is. Okay, so it's basically Patriot Front is what they're claiming there for Ohio, I think. And then not really seeing anything else for the state of Ohio. That is what it is. So just be Patriot Fred Boy then, which you all know is a bunch of fucking Fed boys. Oh, wait, no. National Justice Party, they're claiming, is one of them in Dayton, Ohio. Don't know, never heard of those fucking people. Guarantee it doesn't really exist, is what it is. So, yeah, just a bunch of fucking lies from a bunch of fucking liars, dude. Bunch of fucking lies from a bunch of goddamn leftist liars is what it really is at the end of the day. And that's why the SPLC can go fuck themselves, for real. Because they're a bunch of scumbags. They are a bunch of scumbags. All the fucking way around, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, that's about where we're at for the day, though. One piece of good news I do want to mention before we end this off today. House Bill 68 finally got out of committee today in Ohio. That would basically be banning kids from being genital mutilated in the state anymore. It would stop children from having transition surgeries, aka having their dicks cut off or their tits cut off or anything else like that. Good. That's how it should be. Thankfully, when they did this, they actually incorporated a couple of amendments into it, and one of them was to basically stop dudes from competing in girls' sports in the state of Ohio. Good on y'all, man. Get this to a fucking House floor vote next week, if not before that, and do what needs to be done to get it in there. Get it to the state Senate, get it through the fucking chamber, get it through DeWine's desk before y'all go on vacation, man, for the summertime here. That's my suggestion to y'all right now. Don't let it sit there. Don't let it be stewing for months on end during the fucking summertime break, and then you come back in the fall and maybe it gets picked up by the state Senate, maybe it doesn't. No, get it through before the summer break. Do what needs to be done. Do the shifting, do whatever needs to be done there and everything, and get it to DeWine's desk to be signed to law is what it is, man. It needs to happen right now. They're also working on I believe it was one of the ones that was pro Ohio too as well. That kind of got held up in committees is what it was right now, unfortunately. But that's to basically be assumed most of the time because they'll pull that bullshit every so often is what it is. So anyway. Oh my god. So okay. So we have to talk about this one then, because I just saw this pop up on my Twitter feed when I was looking on the side here. So you have a dude who apparently is a state senator in California who is now telling citizens to flee the fucking state. So we're gonna watch this whole thing. It's about a minute and a half. Yeah, it's a remarkable video. Wait for the ending. California senator tells citizens to flee state.
Now in year 11 in the state legislature, and all the time we're proposing policies to protect children. After 11 years, I've come to a conclusion that we need to start protecting parents. That's just not happening. I've been here and witnessed a full frontal assault on charter schools, taking away parents' choice in how their children are going to be educated, to the detriment particularly of children of color. In recent years, we have put government bureaucrats between parents, children, and doctors when it comes to medical care.
Yep.
And now we have this where if a parent does not support the ideology of the government, they're going to be taken away from the home.
Okay, so he's talking about that shit that pedophile Scott Wiener tried to propose the other day. Which, by the way, the fact that Scott Wiener is not sitting in a federal prison for child molestation charges right now is what's wrong with this country currently. That dude should be sitting awaiting the death penalty for the shit he's pulled against kids and the shit he's pulled against other people and the crimes against humanity he's done against everybody in this country currently. Whether it be having 14-year-old boys fuck 24-year-old gay men, whether it be just put pros and all legislation like that across the board, whether it be allowing people to give HIV to people without their fucking consent or knowing the people are positive before they fuck them. It's absolutely disgusting, dude. Now he's pushing this shit too.
Now, I agree with both Senator Wiener, Senator Laird, that today it only involves divorce proceedings. And frankly, a judge can already factor this in.
What a fucking joke.
But I can assure you, it's not going to end with divorce proceedings.
No, it's not.
In the past, when we've had these discussions, and I've seen parental rights atrophied, but I've encouraged people to keep fighting. I've changed my mind on that. If you love your children, you need to flee California. You need to flee.
Yep.
We are moving towards the pathway of the Handmaid's Tale.
Yes,
California is becoming the new Juliet, and it just breaks my heart. I'm born and raised in this state. I love this state. I'm not going to stay in this state because it's just too oppressive, and I believe in freedom, and so I'm going to move to America when I leave the legislature.
Oh my God, dude. That should tell you something. That should fucking tell you something right there, man. So, okay. So let's figure that out then. So I'm assuming that California does their state senators just like Ohio does, which is 4 years apiece then. So he's talking about year 11. So that would be in 2024, his term is up. So he's saying next year, he's going to flee California himself as a ex-state senator and move to another part of the United States. It's actually the U.S. now. Dude, that is fucking huge. Like, this is what I've been talking about forever on this channel, honestly. Like, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about when I'm talking about balkanization and the splitting of this country and the potentialities that are very much coming forward right now for civil war and potential revolutions and everything else like that happening very soon in this nation. And I don't even know if it's going to be a year now. I think, truthfully, the way things are going and the way it seems like they keep ramping things up and stuff like that, specifically the federal government and other people as well in that one from the left and shit, with all the terrorist crap they're doing and getting away with is what it is. I believe, honestly, we are definitely going to see something pop before the end of December of this year is what it is. So, yeah, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all, ladies and gentlemen. And it fears, I fear for everything right now, honestly. I am truthfully fearful of what this country will become in a potential for a second civil war right now. Because I don't believe everybody's going to make it out. I think a lot of people are going to make it past the first few days at that point. And it frightens me to see in my own lifetime what has happened to this nation. The fact that we are allowing states like California to even have any federal representation after shit they're pulling at a state level like that, dude, is absolutely irreprehensible. California should have no fucking federal representation at all. No federal reps, no federal senators, no nothing. They should be out of the fucking thing entirely. And so should New York for that matter, because they're pushing the same exact bullshit, dude. And if you got rid of California and New York, you would have over 70 people gone from Congress at this point in history. And you would have Congress be a way better fucking place then. Because you get rid of McCarthy's dumbass, you would get rid of all these fucking Democrats like Pelosi, Waters, Schumer, Feinstein, etc. Adam Schiff would be fucking gone, which, by the way, fuck all you fucking rhinos, especially you, Warren Davidson and Mike Turner, you fucking cocksucking sacks of shit from Ohio. The fact that you voted with fucking Democrats to keep that piece of fucking trash, Schiff, in power shows me that you fuckers are pedos too at this point. When you are actively voting for a fucking deep state child molester to be allowed to remain in power and not be conjured and not be fucking forced to pay up a fuck ton of fees for lying to the American people what happened on January 6th, etc. there, you are 100% in fucking league with this piece of shit, dude. And I guarantee that's exactly why this fucking unity party bullshit goes on across the fucking state line or across fucking party lines all the time with the omnibus bills and everything else like that at federal level, because these people are actively raping kids together behind closed doors is what it is. And I'm calling the fuck out on that one. You want to prove me wrong, dude? Then fucking show the tapes of it being just Schiff fucking with kids and stuff, dude. Or anybody else for that matter in the Democrat Party. But no, you're not going to come forward on that one because you know for a fact that you, just like them, are mutually assured destruction to each other. One of you gets taken down, y'all fuckers go down is what it is at that point. And I am personally sick and goddamn tired of it right now. And that's why I'm calling the fuck out right now, dude. Because the thing is, Trump actually saw the names, dude. There was a list going around during his presidency of every single person at the time that was in Congress that had fucking kid shit on them. And I'm pretty sure that Turner and Davidson's names were both on that list, honestly. Well, not surprisingly, at least, honestly, dude. Both these guys are creepy as fuck, by the way. Mike Turner, I know for a fact, is an anti-gun sack of shit because he, and I'm pretty sure it was Davidson and a couple others too, for that matter, all voted in favor of the fucking horse shit legislation, the anti-gun crap they pushed after Uvalde a year or so ago. Mike Turner has been pro anti-gun stuff for a long fucking time. Back in 2019 during the Dayton Massacre, it was his district that happened, by the way. He tried to push for red flag laws and their crap back then at the federal level, dude. And you know what happened? His bitch ass got slapped the fuck down, and rightfully so. And it's exactly what we did here in Ohio. We slapped Allison Russo, Casey Weinstein, etc. the fuck down for the bullshit they were trying to push 3 days after the Dayton Massacre, dude. And we told them to fuck off. And that's exactly why Ohio Patriot Education Network exists to this fucking day. It's exactly why I created this group. It's exactly why I created Ohio's for Firearms Freedom a couple years back now. And it is exactly why I've been fighting for 2A rights and been fighting for the founding principles of this country, being the U.S. Constitution, for the last 4 years of my fucking life. And I am fucking sick and tired of these fuckers still being in office after this shit, dude. Every single one of these fucking punks. Auto DQs, bitches. You are fucking gone. You are fucking gone, and you are fucking facing charges for the fucking criminal shit you have done in office right now. Enough is enough of this fucking crap. End of story, end of the fucking day, man. Enough is enough of it. By the way, I've been working on petitions the last day or so, so we're going to get those out here pretty soon, probably, hopefully. And been trying to talk with some people statewide in these districts that Weinstein, Russo, etc. exist in right now, and trying to get them to actually do the petition circulation down there. Unfortunately, I haven't had any people jump on board yet, but it's only been about a day or so, so I'm not too worried about it right now. But yeah, we'll definitely get some stuff started here and there is what it is. And most likely be a grassroots group of people that'll be coming up together and stuff within the network that'll help us out across the state. Then is what it'll be then, to remove these fuckers from office under Article 1, Section 2 is what it'll be. So yeah, that's pretty much it though for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will be back. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or next day, because today was Wednesday. So trying to think now. So it'd be Thursday, Friday. My back has been hurting quite a bit lately. I need to get a chiropractic adjustment again one of these days soon. So it might be tomorrow. It might be Friday. It might be Saturday or Sunday. I don't know. It's all depending. I think I'm probably going to do Freedom Friday again on Friday. I might do 2 shows on Friday, actually, depending on how long each one of them goes. Because I want to do Freedom Friday, but I also want to do Fishing Friday too. Because I want to talk about bait casters and stuff. I was going to do that last Sunday, actually, as a Sunday special. But then I didn't get a chance to do it, is what it was, because I kind of fell asleep. And then by the time I was actually ready to awake and stuff, we were about to get ready for Honda's chat and stuff then. So didn't get a chance to shoot that, but it's whatever. Gist of it was basically I don't know bait casters because, expense is what it really be at the end of the day. They're way more expensive than actual spinning reels and combos are then. So that's more or less the gist of it. And then we'd also talk about the fishing stuff during that episode as well. But yeah, I'll probably, like I said, I'll probably set up Freedom Friday after I finish filming this, after I end the broadcast here. But other than that, I don't know if I'll be back before that or not. We might just do the Freedom Friday on Friday and then just go from there then for whenever then for another grandstand and stuff. So, but either way, thought it was interesting that you have all these douchebags talking about white hate in Ohio and across the country and stuff like that. Yeah, they'll never bring up black hate and everything else like that, or black supremacy or anything else like that is what it is. Because that's the real threat to America right now, dude. It's like I said, you got black on Asian hate crimes on the rise. You got black on white hate crimes on the rise like crazy. But yeah, they never talk about that shit. They only talk about white supremacy that 99% of the fucking time is literally Fed informants under black masks or white masks or something else for that matter, some kind of fucking shit that makes them unidentifiable is what it is, who are faking to be racists. Whether it be Patriot Front or whether it be Blood Tribe or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves here in Ohio, they are a bunch of fucking feds and Fed informants, dude, legitimately. Hell, like I said, I'm pretty sure there was that one article that came out recently. It was down in Columbus on the drag shows there with that Blood Tribe group and stuff like that. One of the fucking guys forgot his gloves, by the way, that day. And you could tell him holding the sign, it was some black dude's fucking hands holding a sign, dude. Like, pretty sure you're not a white hate group when you got a black dude within your fucking ranks holding the fucking white hate sign is what it is. Unless you're gonna go like full Cletus at that, or no, so sorry, full Clayton Bigsby at that point, where it'd be like Dave Chappelle under the fucking Klan hood or something, dude. Like, seriously, it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my entire life, man. Like, honestly, that's what it is anymore. America is a parody of old comedy skits these days, and that's really what we've become, honestly. Because we're allowing this shit to flourish. We're allowing the mainstream media to continue to have freedom of the press protections when they're not actually press anymore. They're fucking pseudo-ass, fake-ass journalists that just want to push a bunch of propaganda and fear-mongering and everything else like that and be like, oh my God, white supremacy is such a problem in America. Dude, if that were the case, we would only be a white country right now. If that were seriously the problem, we would only be a white country currently. You would have no other races in the country except for white people. But you know what we have? We have multiculturalism all across this country right now. Because we are not a fucking racist thing. We're not a bunch of white supremacists in this country. But that's the problem, though. It doesn't fit their leftist narrative. It doesn't fit their racial division narrative to sit there and talk about black supremacy or something else for that matter. Or black Hebrew Israelites being the ones that are a bunch of anti-Semites and stuff, dude. So, anyway. It's a bunch of shit either way. But, yeah, that's pretty much where we're at for the day, though. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Probably Freedom Friday will be the next episode. And then I might do something Saturday or Sunday. I'm still debating. It all depends. It all depends, really. Yeah, I'm not really sure, honestly. Trying to get some sleep again these days, and unfortunately, schedule is all off and everything, so my sleep ticker is off as well, for that matter, because my internal clock is all messed up right now. So, anyway, probably going to go to bed here in a little while then. But other than that, it's all fucked. Like, I'll say that, man. It truthfully is. I think we're definitely heading towards a civil war in this nation. I think we're definitely heading towards bad times ahead. My advice to everybody out there, be prepared. Be prepared with the Second Amendment. Be prepared with the patriotism, because it's coming back in a big way when things fall in this nation. And it's as simple as that. You want to gear up on some stuff, dude. You want to gear up mentally and stuff. Go rewatch Jericho from 2000s. Great fucking series. Great fucking series that shows what happens when things fall. You have people in a town that actively come together. And that's exactly what will happen in most towns in this country. You will have most small rural areas come together and towns and stuff come together as one. You will have other places like major cities collapse on themselves because everybody's going to be killing each other for little bits of food, little scraps of food, maybe eating each other for that matter, and cannibalism and stuff like that. Who the fuck knows? It'll be a bad deal either way. Last place you want to be is in a major city in this country after the fall happens, though, because you're not going to survive for very long. It's as simple as that, really. So, anyway, hope you all enjoyed this episode. See y'all on the next one. Later.